Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our regular podcast, Knowledge Empowers. With you today is me, Kat. 안녕하세요. Then we have Baruch.
Hello.
And we have Koláč.
Dobré ráno.
And today we're gonna switch a totally different topic. And I bet that every one of you, through your childhood, had some kind of a pet. What did you guys have? Baruch.
In my case, I always wanted a dog, and I still want a dog, but I never had it. So we settled for fish in a tank.
Oh, was it just one or more?
More, yeah. It's nice beta, I think beta fish. It's the English name.
And did you wake up in the morning and you had like few fishes on the carpet?
Yes, unfortunately. And I hated it. So it taught me that I don't like to eat fish and I don't like to see them die for some reason. I don't know why. Like,
Do you
I
like
don't want
sushi?
I love it.
Salmon is not a fish.
And
Salmon is
tuna
salmon.
neither, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I cannot see them whole. That's my thing. Like, I cannot see them like grilled whole on a plate. I don't know why. Like looking at me without eyelids.
My
Anyway.
brother used to have fish in tank, and also every morning when we woke up, there were like one or two on the carpet. I'm like, what is wrong with them? Until he put like the lid on top to sort of prevent it and stuff. So,
Why did it happen actually? Were they trying to commit a suicide or what?
yeah, I have no idea. But it was very, like, whenever you spoke with anyone who had a fish at that time, that was the regular thing. Did you find them in the carpet? Yes. But I have no idea why. Maybe someone who has fish in tanks could explain this to us, but I really don't know.
I think at this point I would research it, but at that time, like there was no internet, and
Oh, yeah.
like we didn't have some special books about like why fish commit suicide intentionally or not.
And did it happen to you? I had a friend who had a huge aquarium with a fish, and then it was like a huge, like 50 liters, 100 liters, something like really huge, half of a wall. And the fish tank broke down. It split open in one corner, so water was everywhere. Like literally, the whole flooring needed to go. Did that happen to you, or not really? No.
I just
Oh, thank
remember
God.
cleaning was really troublesome, cleaning fish tanks, and we didn't have a big fish tank. So, but my father always did that because for some reason they didn't trust me and my sister to do it. We were too little, probably.
My brother started with big tanks and actually went from big to small up to nothing. And I hated when he said, it's time to clean it. I'm like, no. So Baruch, besides of fish, did you have anything else?
Unfortunately, that's it. But I really still want to have that dog. So as soon as I'm not renting places to stay, instead of having my own place, then I think I'm going for it.
Is it still Doberman? I don't know how to say it in English.
I think so.
But is it still that kind of a dog you want?
Yeah, that's the one I want. So yeah, you shouldn't have a small place for that kind of dog, for that breed.
For those of us who are listening to us, so if you ever watched Magnum, a series from the 70s, and these were the two dogs, Apollon and Zeus, that were playing a huge role in that series. So that's what Baruch wants. That's for all the generation, if they are listening to us.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to say, if you're younger than Katka is, then you have probably no clue what she's talking about.
So what? And Koláč, what kind of pets did you have?
Jesus. I feel, well, my mom is really into nature and saving animals. into this way. So I think I've had most of the things in our home. So we've got hamsters, guinea pigs, corellas, andulkas. I don't know what's the name.
Yeah, I was just trying to check dictionary.
I've had a turtle. I've got about 7 dogs, cats. What is it? Hens. Oh, what else is there? Actually, in one case, when we were in a apartment, that was the most curious. My mom was trying to save during the winter a bat, so we had a bat living with us for like a week until a warmer winters came, so that she could release him into the wild. We've got several hedgehogs, and what else is there? I don't know.
You're basically naming all the animals in the zoo.
Yeah, we haven't had any reptiles like lizards or something like that. But my mom, when she was young, she had fish as well. So she's got even more coverage than I do.
Anduka is parakeet.
Parakeet? Isn't that?
Parakeet.
Okay.
Parakeet.
And I always wanted to have the parrot, the big brown one, Jacques. I'm not sure if that's how they are calling them in English as well.
The talking one.
Yeah, talking one. I've got one which is just shrieking, and that's not cool. Well, so
Shut up!
Shut up. Yeah, mostly when he starts at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. and like, why the hell sleep? Just sleep.
So that makes me think about, why do you want to have pets? Like, is it like the cool factor, or like why do you keep pets?
I think when I was a kid, because I had like turtle, I had parakeet or andulkas, I had mouse, fish, which were my brothers. I just sort of always wanted to have a pet, and my mom did not allow a dog. And her reason was because when she was young, they had a dog, and she hated the fact when they died, because you have a strong attachment to the dog. So she never allowed us to have a dog. But for a kid, I was like, I just sort of wanted to have something like a living creature that you take care of. And turtle was fun, except that few months it slept in fridge because it hibernated. So it's like you pull that shelf and like, oh, turtle, okay, let it sleep.
These are no eggs.
I used to have, yeah, go ahead.
Yep. My mom had a more practical reason, except of saving them. When we were kids, she wanted, so I wasn't like taught, or I had this drawn or motivation that, yeah, I need to have a dog, or I want a cat because I want to have the animal like Katkas. And my mom was driven automatically towards that, so I never created this motivation. And she had a practical reason for that. She thought that having an animal with us when we were little kids helps to boost our immune system. And then I've heard also what you were talking about, the death of an animal there. I've heard that it could have a practical usage, that part as well, because that's the first death you actually experience as a child, like your pet is dying. So later on, when your grandma or somebody else dies, you are better equipped for that, or better prepared. So you can explain the kid on it, like, okay, how the whole cycle works, that it's natural and blah, 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 blah. So that's something what I heard from Fisher. Like, that's the best way how to teach it. Hi, Fisher.
Okay. Hi, Fisher.
So my mom, immunity system, practical stuff. So I'm not sure if that's true. I never really tried to Google it. The other thing was the practical use. For example, hens, you get the eggs and meat of them. So that's another usage.
I used to have ferrets, but I still wanted a dog, and it took me 16 years to convince my husband to have a dog. Now we have Becky. She's 3.5 years old. And I love her, every bit of her, even though sometimes she's so stubborn. But she's so cute. It's just unbelievable. And it happened in a way that he said, okay, now you said you want a dog, but how do you even imagine it? What about the care? What about this, etc.? And we sit down and I said, okay, of course I cannot take care of it just by myself, because you might get sick, right? Or you want to go for vacation. So you need to plan this sort of ahead. Who could be the one that could help you out? Or are there any centers you could call that you would put the dog there, like a dog hotel or something? And once I find out also whether there is a center that we could go to school to learn how to deal with the dog and how to train the dog, everything. He made the agreement, like, okay, I was like, I still couldn't believe that he made that agreement. And we have a Corgi. So it's very rare breed in Slovakia. So it took a while till he found a place where we could get the Corgi. And when we came there, and there were six tiny little 4 weeks old Corgis, and he just melted because all of them just attacked him, and he melted immediately. And he was just so cute. And he loves her mom. Her mom is like, she simply just sort of always puts her head on you, and you just stroke her, and she will lay there without any movement. Her mom is like really, really awesome. And then we went there when she was 6 weeks old. We signed the contract, we bought her, and then besides of assigning her to school, so you can start training the puppy once it's 3 months old, we also had a trainer coming to our own house, and he came to us twice, and he literally shared with us like really very useful knowledge, like if you want that your dog would not chew your shoes or the furniture, and he told us what we need to do. And he said, take everything out of the floor, whatever you want to protect, put the wood or protect it until her teeth will exchange. And this sort of first 6 months, you need to make her entertain or busy. And he shared with us some really super cool tricks, like just take any old t-shirt or blanket, whatever you want to destroy, and put some nom-noms in it. And first you will sort of just, for example, you put the nom-noms and you only fold it on half. And then she will start going with her nose there and trying to dig with her paws until she gets the nom-noms. Then you can roll it like a pancake, like roll it off. And then she needs to, again, it takes her brain. And then at the end, there is the what's the word?
Reward.
Reward, thank you. Oh, I got the nom-nom. And to make it more difficult was, once you figured these things out, that you put the nom-nom and you create uzo. How do you say uzo?
A knot.
A knot. So you put it in a blanket, you roll the t-shirt or blanket or whatever, you create a knot. That it took her 1 hour. So we had 1 hour free from her. It made her tired, but she unknotted. It was, of course, like in pieces. She got the reward and then she fell asleep. And really, once she exchanged her teeth, we started to taking all the protection we had piece by piece. So first we took it away from one part. We saw that she keeps ignoring it. Then a week later, another part. And slowly we removed all of this protection. She never chewed one shoe or a furniture, never even touched it, etc. And my husband, because he's in IT, he even installed cameras inside that when we were at work, he could watch her, like, what is she doing when we are not at home? And then he realized all she does is sleeping. That was all she did. So she was always in the small hall and never moved herself away from them. So these were very, very useful tips and tricks. And I would highly recommend that if you get a dog, get a professional, at least for consultation, for conversation, so they can share with you tips and tricks. Another tip he shared with us, really amazing. And whenever we giving Becky to our friends to look after her, they are still surprised for that. So he asked us, for example, that what is our working style, that how long are we at work, that he would accommodate the dog to us and not that we need to accommodate the dog. And so we said, well, sometimes we work long hours, but definitely we are at work from 9 to 5, let's say, etc. Okay. And so he said, you don't need to go for a walk with her in the morning. She just need to go to toilet. So it would take maximum 2 minutes. And he showed us what you do in the morning. Like you just take her to the place where you want her to do her business. And immediately after, you take her, when she was still a puppy, back home. Stay home 10, 15 minutes, then go for a walk. So she would not connect these two things together. Yeah. And so the way now she's trained is like 6:30, she goes do her business, we go home. Then at 4 p.m., she does her business, we go home. Around 6 p.m., we go for a walk, 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever. And then around 8 p.m., she has her, in case we would come back, let's say at 7, then we go at 9 p.m. But only these 2 minutes, she just does her business, we go back home. And every time when I would give her to friends, and I said, so don't try to go for a walk with her. She will not move. She does her business and she goes straight home because she's hungry.
I was surprised, like when your husband asked me to walk Becky, and I literally went outside, wait for a minute, and not even that, for a few seconds till she's done, and then we went back. I was like, that's it. Like I was ready to, go around and stuff, but no, she did her business, and she by herself wanted to go back. I was really like looking forward to have a actual walk with the dog, but no, that's how she's trained. And I think it's very practical that if you are a working person, then it's really good to have your dog trained this way.
Yeah. And also my friend, when I explained it to her and she did not believe, she tried to walk her. She tried. She was able to get 1 meter to left, 1 meter to right. And then Becky was like, what are you doing? You're going back home? I have breakfast. Or at 4 p.m., what are you doing? I did what I had to do. Dinner time. Get your ass back home. What are you trying to do? Also, another shock for her was, you didn't tell me that the dog owners talk to each other. Why you didn't tell me? I was walking Becky and someone was talking. I didn't know they are talking to me. And then I explained her, well, it's funny, you don't know the owners, especially if they are not with the dog, because you always focusing yourself on the dog, never like upwards. You know the dogs by their names. I know exactly which dogs are the lovers of our Becky and which love her, whom she loves. And we have 2 pit bulls on our street, and one is huge, like 50 kilo. And the owners are always like having him on a short leash because like it's very strong. These two, when they see each other, oh my God, she lays down, he's all over, he loves her. And sometimes when the friends are taking him out, his name is Cesar, they can't believe, like, no, you have to keep, I'm like, trust me, they know each other. And then they are looking like, Cesar, what happened to you? And he's like in love with her. It's just unbelievable. So it's amazing. And especially now during COVID, when we were locked down, to have a dog or pet like this was awesome, because the dog, because of the dog, you have to go out, even if it's just for these 2 minutes that she needs to do her business. But the dog forces you to go on a fresh air, and it helps tremendously. And of course, there were restrictions during the COVID that where you can walk and not walk. And if you had the dog, you were allowed to walk even more than just 500 meters beyond your house. So that was also awesome. And I wanted to rent Becky, whoever wanted to rent her, just to go for a walk.
Well, what you mentioned is extremely interesting because the dogs create a sort of they evoke serotonin in us.
Yeah.
So it's really similar, like having a close partner or a kid. Even it's really compared to that level of having a kid when it comes to the hormones level. And what's even more interesting is that this moving and a need to move can even persuade the depressed people to start moving. So it's even recommended by doctors to have a dog when you are like really depressed for a long period of time, to get a dog, because then the dog forces you to move out. Plus it creates this dopamine and serotonin level. So you feel more happy. Plus you have the walk, which you need to go to because of the dog, and it triggers the movement. And again, you get the dopamine levels up and adrenaline because you need to move a bit. So this kicks in and it helps patients, if I can call them that way, to move ahead a bit, to get better.
And also, whenever you feel down and you grab your dog, you hug the dog, you literally feel the negative energy or that whatever you feel is like sucked out from you, and you are filled out with happiness. It's that feeling is just unbelievable. Worst part is when I want to sleep and our dog is not allowed to sleep with us on the bed. She doesn't even jump on the bed or anything. But she has a very special blanket that when I put on sofa, she knows then she can be with us on the sofa. And I pulled that blanket out and I wanted to cuddle with her. And sometimes she has her days like, I don't want to cuddle with you. And she goes away and I'm like, what do you mean you don't want to cuddle with me? It's so funny. But that's when we sleep together and we just like that. And also, hilarious thing is when dog dreams. That's the most hilarious thing ever. And sometimes we just keep looking at her with my hubby and we're like, what do you think? Does she dreams about the big puppy or which puppy is she dreaming about? And the noises she does when she sleeps, that's the most cutest thing ever.
So guys, you are talking so lovingly about pets and it seems like it's worse to have one, but are there any situations or people that you wouldn't recommend pets to?
Everyone who is not ready.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean, not ready?
You can see it many times when the dog is not trained and the either parents or whoever just get a dog because I want a dog. But then they don't have the time to spend certain time with it. Because if you invest that, let's say the first year into the dog of all the training and you go with the trainer, etc., afterward it just pays off tremendously. And you see when the dog is not behaving or is not listening to the master or the human, is very nervous, very barking, etc. That's not good. Also, when we were thinking what type of breed we are going to get, and we live in a block of flats, definitely I didn't want to have a barking dog because it just annoys neighbors. And we lived like that once when we had a neighbor who lived under us. And as soon as they left the flat, dog has been barking for 3 hours straight. It was nuts. And I then just kept bringing them like, I don't care what you do, but do something. This is just impossible. And that's why you need to, if you make that decision, you want a dog. There are many trainers that even prior to get the dog, you can talk to, because they can help you to teach. How do you teach the dog to, for example, stop barking, going on the toilet? How do you teach a dog to go on toilet, or all of this? And I would highly recommend for every single person if they wanted to do that.
And so it goes on the mental and also physical preparations, like if you are buying a huge dog, and that's what I've seen, like you're buying, I don't know, a shepherd's dog or something huge or bigger, and you live in a 2-room apartment, like the dog is not ready to be there. The dog is not suitable for example, for running or something. So you need to have the equipment. And the other thing is what Katka was already mentioning there. She like, you are not just owning the dog like she's right now, but and like buying a dog is, or any pet is just like, oh, I have it in here and that's it. But you need to think of the other things like, okay, if I go for a vacation, what to do with the pet? Do I have someone somewhere to put it? So all this long-term thinking should happen before you even buy it.
Yeah, we also are thinking, if we go for vacation, are we gonna take her with us, or are our friends available to take care of her? And then we plan ahead. And then if we are taking her with us, then we are planning which hotel allows it, do they allow, blah, 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 you know, all of these things. Or if we go just for 1 day trip and we know she is capable to hold it until 6 p.m. Like I've asked Baruch now, she lives very close, like, hey, listen, Friday we go there. Would you be available just to take her out in case we would be late? Yeah. So you need to literally plan those things ahead, because the problem is she holds very soon, but puppies have small bladders. And even though she's holding it from 6:30 when she has her first one until 4 p.m., eventually she would be herself, even if she's super trained, but you know, so that's why, for example, we take her out 4 times a day, just so her kidneys would never be harmed for her long term life. And those of us who are watching us on YouTube, I'm holding her right now in our hand, just so people can get like, oh my God, that's a corgi and a tiny little boy. And those of us who are listening, we also included the video of her dreaming, because that's hilarious sounds that she's making when she's dreaming.
It's going to play now.
And that's it from us today. Tell us what kind of pet you guys have, what kind of happiness it brings you. And with that, I'm saying, 수고하셨습니다.
Bye-bye.
Sayonara.
This podcast represents our own opinions, experience, and our own ideas. We do not represent any official statement from our employers, and this is not their official channel representing the company.